What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the MIgardener melon patch. In today's episode, I'm going to show you all how to tell when your melons are ripe. It's by far one of the most common questions we get asked because oftentimes growing the melons is not even the most challenging part. It's picking them at the right time is the most challenging part. Pick them a week too soon, they're watery and pale. Pick them a week too late, they're mealy and mushy. There's a really fine line, and it's finding that fine line of knowing when to pick them that really makes all the difference. So that's what we're gonna talk about in today's episode. Let's go. So we started this melon patch in late April. We did that because in late April, it's still pretty cold, not ideal temperatures to grow melons. We started them from seed indoors. And that's a really important tip for all of you that are looking to grow melons in a colder climate like here in Michigan, is getting that head start. Because what that does is it gives us about 2 to 3 weeks to get the melon seedling growing so we can then transition it outside once the weather is warm. We don't have to lose those precious 2 or 3 weeks of growing, because once the weather does get hot, it's a very short period of time before it starts to get cold again. And so we started our seeds indoors, and we have here a combination. If you check it out, we have quite a few melons. It's actually really exciting. Now the melon patch has definitely seen better days, but we've got tons of rain in the forecast. We've had tons of rain in the past. And so a lot of our plants are starting to kind of succumb to things like powdery mildew and seasonal stress. But that's not without having a ton of production. We got here a couple cantaloupes. I got a cantaloupe there. There's another, that's a green-fleshed honeydew right there, like absolutely beautiful looking. We've got another cantaloupe over here just sizing up. There's another cantaloupe right here. This is a Hale's Best Jumbo Cantaloupe. We've got another cantaloupe over here, still kind of sizing up. These plants, as you can see, they're just kind of tired. Now we do have over here, we got ourselves a Crimson Sweet. Now this Crimson Sweet melon is the second largest watermelon we have. And you'll notice it's a pretty decent size. These are nothing much more than a personal sized watermelon. So they're not gonna get all that large. In Michigan, we do have to grow personal sized melons if we're gonna have any chance of success, because the season is shorter. To grow a larger melon takes a lot more time and a lot more heat and humidity, which we just don't get that much of here in Michigan. So we grow the smaller personal sized melons. We find we do a lot better, but we got that one. And then we also have over here, we got another one hiding over here. And as you'll notice, vines are still alive on the watermelon. They're still doing okay. They're doing a little bit better than the cantaloupes are, but this one's just sizing up, not quite super large yet. And then there's also one more cantaloupe that's hiding over here. So we got a couple cantaloupes still forming up. And then we have the star of the show. The star of the show is the one that we're gonna be picking today. And it's the one we're gonna be talking about because we have a ripe watermelon. Check it out, look at this. Look at this absolutely beautiful example, absolutely incredible example of a personal sized watermelon. This is how big they should be getting. You know, when you're talking personal size, you're not really getting much larger than about 5 pounds. This is a beautiful, beautiful example, probably one of the best sized watermelons, personal sized watermelons we've ever grown. And it is just perfect. So we're gonna talk about now how we know that it's ready, because you probably have a lot of watermelons that look similar to this, or maybe even like that you don't know if they're ready or not. So it's really important we talk about how we know that this is ready, because at face value, they kind of always look ready. The first thing you wanna look for is the tendrils. The tendrils are the first indicator that a melon is ripe, because it's basically a sign on the vine that the vine is starting to harden off the stem and mature the melon that it's trying to hold on to. So when we're talking about tendrils, these are the tendrils. They're basically like anchors that the vine uses to hold on to things. Now, traditionally, these would vine, and you could put them up on a trellis and they'll climb fairly well. But these tendrils are essentially the anchors that hold the vine in place. And what you wanna look for is you wanna look for a few of the surrounding tendrils to be brown. You'll notice here, this one here, very brittle and brown. This one here is not brittle and brown, but it's not even attached. This is actually going to the cantaloupe. So you can kind of see here the difference. This one is still pretty green. Over here, this one is actually attached to the melon as well. This one as well is nice and brown. So we have 2 brown tendrils here. They're nice and brown in between this melon. That's the first thing you want to look for. The second rule you want to look for picking a ripe melon is scratching. Now scratching, or some call it webbing in the industry, is basically just the beginnings of animals starting to scratch at the flesh, which is still pretty tender here. As you'll notice, you can kind of scratch that flesh away. Animals will do that when the melon is starting to ripen because the melon is sweet. It's a food source. And so what you'll notice here is that we have a good amount of webbing or scratching going on the flesh of this melon. Now, that could have happened as it's ripening, but generally this happens as it's ripe because the animals will try to kind of scratch at it to access the sweet flesh inside, and over time they'll kind of scab up and heal if they don't successfully get through the melon. And so this is not like a surefire way to know that it's ripe. It's just an additional way to tell. If you have scratching, you know there's sugars being created, you know it's getting sweeter, because that's what they're looking for, is that sweet flesh inside the melon. So that's the second thing we look for, scratching and webbing. The third thing we look for is the belly of the melon. Now, the belly of the melon is the part that touches the ground. The belly can really be any part of the melon. A lot of people think that the belly is a certain part of the melon. It's whatever part's touching the soil. So in this case, the melon here, like we came into the garden, it formed just like this. The belly would conveniently be the very bottom of the melon. You can see the dirt there still on the melon. Now, if it was sitting on its side, the side would be the belly. And what we want to look for with the belly is that the color starts to transition, because what happens is this melon right here is being exposed to sunlight. And as it's exposed to sunlight, it's starting to develop color. The green striations, the color, the vibrancy of that melon is developing, and the part that's not exposed to the sunlight is still really pale. But as it's starting to ripen fully, that color is transitioning even into the parts that are not accessing the sunlight. And so that's what you want to look for, is you want to see the color starting to move into the paler parts of the belly of the melon. And again, remember, the belly is just whatever part is touching the soil. So here's another example. This is the medium-sized melon. This is the second largest one. We do have the scratching and webbing, which is great. And you'll notice this one is on its side. We haven't moved it, but if we pick it up, we'll notice dirt and a nice little belly right there. And I'd almost guarantee this one is ripe as well, just based on the fact that we see the tendrils nice and brown on both sides of the melon. We're starting to notice the belly is starting to transition to that color that we see throughout. It's a little paler still, but that color is still coming through, and we're getting that nice webbing and cracking. Now, a question we always get asked is the thump test. Now, a lot of people go to the grocery store and they give it a nice thump. That has absolutely zero bearing on ripeness. What it has more bearing to do is how moisture rich it is. The more hollow a thud means the more drier the melon is going to be. Sound travels better through air than it does through water. And so imagine you being underwater and someone clapping their hands. You're gonna hear it, but it's gonna be very muted. Versus someone clapping their hands like this, it's very evident. That same thing is the sound being transitioned through the melon. When you give it a thud, if it sounds kind of hollow, that means it's gonna be a little more spongy and a little less water content. To fix that, before your melons are ripe, pump them with lots of water. That's going to help them to actually, store the water so you have a really crisp, juicy melon. If you thud it and it sounds very dense, a lot of people fear that that's not ripe. Those are in fact some of the best melons, especially if they're exhibiting some of those signs, that we think of when they're ready. If they're showing those signs and they have a nice dense thud, those are the best melons. All right, so here's the moment of truth. There's no studio magic here. You're gonna see it happen in real time. We're gonna either see if this melon is ripe or not. I'm fairly confident that it is, but we're gonna check it out. So there's no going back. Once you cut this, it's not like it's gonna ripen up on the countertop. That's another thing people always ask is, once I cut my melons, it's not ripe, is it gonna finish ripening on the countertop? Once you cut a watermelon, it's done. With things like cantaloupe, you can develop some softness. Most of the sweetness is already developed, but they will kind of semi-ripen up on the countertop. But more or less, the fruit is softening to make it a little more palatable and desirable. Most of the sugars either have already been created or they haven't. So we're gonna cut this. There's no going back. Let's take it over to the grass and cut it up and see what it looks like. All right, so before cutting these melons here, I've got one more little piece of comfort for all of you, and that's that there is a chance that even when everything is showing signs of it being ripe, there's still maybe about a 20% chance that you'll have a melon that's underripe. Now, the reason why this is comfort is because we all go through this. We all harvest melons that are underripe. It happens to all of us. And I don't want you to harvest your melons thinking, okay, the tendrils are brown, there's webbing, the belly has started transitioning color, we're in mid to late August. Everything should be right. Right now is the right time. And when you cut it open and it's white or pale or completely flavorless, those can be really discouraging moments as a gardener. And you might say to yourself, that was an entire season and a lot of space wasted. I don't think I'm ever gonna grow them again. don't think that, because honestly, those moments happen to all of us. They've happened to us for years. Heck, they might even happen right now. But I want you guys to remember this as well, that it's gonna happen to all of us and you can just try again. That's the best thing about melons. So let's cut it open. Let's see what we got. I'm really, really excited about this. Can't see it yet. Hey, look at that. Look at that. We got ourselves a beautiful watermelon. I am so happy about that. Oh my gosh, you guys, the smell is so good. It smells amazing. It's got fully developed seeds inside, as it should. So now we can save some seeds for next year, which is great. But wow. All right, let's get a taste here. And then, well, you know, I'm gonna leave this one for Hannah because that one fell on my foot. So I'm gonna eat this one. I'll leave the other one for Hannah. So, all right, I'll tell you what, you guys, this is so good. Absolutely incredible. This made my day. I mean, this absolutely made my day. It's something that really, I mean, when you talk about like homegrown tomatoes, those are great. They don't compare to store-bought. Homegrown watermelons might be on a completely different level. I mean, it's just such a special experience. I'm so happy with this. I mean, it's so juicy. Like literally from that one cut, we're talking like tons of juice, crazy amounts of juice. This thing is so incredible. And it really has such almost like a cotton candy flavor. It's so incredible. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Definitely hit that like button. Spread this video around to more people that could probably benefit from this, your friends, family, coworkers, because everyone in the world should be experiencing a homegrown watermelon. And let me know in the comments box down below if you agree, if homegrown watermelons is kind of like life-altering, because honestly, it's kind of life-altering. So I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow bigger. Take care. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider checking this one out. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I want to thank you so much for your viewership, because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. If you haven't subscribed yet, it's free. Consider doing that. We upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, rain or shine. And if you need any garden tools, supplies, or seeds, check out MIgardener.com. We got you covered. See you guys in the garden. Bye.